Hello, my name's Duncan and welcome to Bath Books. Today I'm doing a paperback parade. I think I'm probably the only person still doing this, but this was a tag originally done by the Booklectic, and it was to celebrate covers of books before 1990 and their artists. And for us to show you, I've got a playlist which I'll put at the end so that you can actually link to all the ones I've done, but I quite enjoy it. I've just been seeing covers around and I just thought I'd celebrate them with you. So today we are going to do The Men from Pig and Robot, which is a book by Harry Harrison, and I'm a big fan of Harry Harrison's work. This is one of his obviously more comedic books. He did comedic books like The Stainless Steel Rat and famous books like Make Room, which was made into film Soylent Green, even though it's not particularly faithful to the book, but it's another story. And he's got a very quirky sense of humour. This was one of his, what was counted at the time as juvenile books. It was more of a children's one. And it's actually two novellas, The Men from Pig and The Men from Robot. And the artwork is done by Peter Edwards. And if you look at it, it is wonderful. There is a guy in a spacesuit on the front with a little pig in a spacesuit. And all these pigs there. And all these pigs charging towards there. I said I'll try and put a copy of it up here so I don't have to hold the book up all the time. And this was actually a puffin book. So we've been doing a lot of puffin books recently. I know Roy Reads Anything's also been doing a lot of puffin books. But I said it's the two novellas, The Men from Pig and The Men from Robot. So story-wise, before I get onto the art, it's about two interstellar agencies. One is PEG, which is the Porcine Interstellar Guard. And people go on missions with pigs, basically. And it's great. It's a really, really fun little read. And Robot is, I can't remember what Robot stands for. It's, the Robot Intrusion Brigade Omega 2. That's what it's called. And these are like people who use robots to do like a secret agent things. Well, in some ways, it reminded me from The Man from U.N.C.L.E. for some reason. But the robot one's quite interesting because these were written in the mid to late 60s, and this edition is 1971, or is it 69? This edition is. I used to have another version of this. I'll have a look for you. And you'll see man looking at book. 1974, this edition is. And they were actually written sort of late 60s. And I said they're two novellas. And what's interesting is the robot one, especially, has got basically what is nanotechnology in it, which is always quite interesting. And there's also a thing about a mobile phone in The Men from Pig. The main man in it, he has a phone when he's on his planet that he phones people, literally. And it's basically this thing about everybody's given a phone number at birth, which I found quite intriguing in this mobile phone age, and quite intriguing about it. But the artwork, I said, the artwork is absolutely wonderful. And I love the pig on the sleeve, and the little pig in the spacesuit there. This was actually artwork was done by Peter Edwards, and Peter Edwards was an impressionist artist, along with his wife Governor Edwards, which I always found a bit of a weird name. They both illustrated W.H. Awdry's railway books. Think of Thomas the Tank Engine. They did illustrations for those together, and they did them until the mid-70s, and they were both Swedish English impressionist artists. And I said this was Peter Edwards by himself doing this one, and I said I think this is a really, really fantastic piece of artwork, and I think everybody should. And I said this is the puffin edition of it. If you ever get a chance to read The Men from Pig and Robot, it's a very fun read. It's not mind stretching. I read it in a day because I'd not read it. I think I originally read it probably the early 80s. And I lost my original edition of it in the great book purge of the 1990s, which was a sad, sad day. But I managed to pick this one up quite recently, I think. And I picked up for the cover. So yeah, so that's my paperback parade for this one. And I said I think I'm the only person still doing it. The Booklectic was doing it. Sean Stanfast was doing it at one point, and I think there was a couple of others I saw around. But yeah, I said I've got a playlist at the end if you want to see any other ones I've done. But I recommend anyway, just have a look at the covers. I said especially pre-1990, you've made some gorgeous, gorgeous artwork. And that's all for the moment, and I thank you all, and I will speak to you all very soon.